Hey guys, John here. Go do us a favor real quick. Go over to Good Pods, go over to Apple Podcasts, go over to Spotify. Go on ahead, rate individual episodes. Tell us what you think about those individual episodes on Good Pods as well. And also, too, go on ahead, rate our podcast. Tell us what you think about our podcast and stuff like that. And of course, go on ahead and listen to our show right now. As a matter of fact, we're actually going to be talking about CinemaCon and the news that's going to be that we just got released and everything over yesterday and today. And then there's also some movie news that's coming out tomorrow, but we'll try and cover that as much as we can for tomorrow. But anyways, for further ado, let's go on ahead. Let's do this. Let's get on with the show. All right. And welcome to the show. I do appreciate Charlie being here tonight and everything with me as always. How you doing, Charlie?
I'm alright. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. You know what, man? It's great to be able to see what CinemaCon has for this year. I know last year they kind of went on ahead, hit a home run with the Sopranos stuff, the coverage over there, and things like that. So it's gonna be interesting to see what we have for this year, because especially now when we have more stuff coming out into the studios, and now it's no longer going to be on streaming services. Pretty much, is now the big blockbusters are now finally coming to the theaters, but we also have a slate of movies coming through. So, what do we have that's coming out with the CinemaCon news?
Well, first, I think we wanted to cover Sony.
Yeah,
Sony had their presser yesterday, I think, and it's like
yeah.
yesterday or Monday. I don't know. It's one of these 2 days. I don't know. Probably Monday. Not much came out from it. I know they announced a sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife. Don't have a release date for that. They announced some more information, and there's like got the two titles for this the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movies. I think one was Across the Spider-Verse. I forgot. I know, and then I know one of them comes out in like 2023 because that was supposed to be out this October, and they delayed it to next year. And then I think in 2024 is the second part. And then I think that one I believe is supposed to be really ambitious to the point where there's like 240 characters supposed to be in one movie. So,
Oh boy.
like, yeah. Oh yeah, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's animated, so it might be a little bit easier to do that. Let me.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm just going to talk about a couple of things that came out on Sony real quick. Yes, we have the Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel, which is not a surprise because of the fact of the overhype of that movie, on how fantastic that movie is, especially now they turned it into kind of like a coming of age kind of movie, and for them to be able to capitalize on the franchise, to be able to hit a home run by passing the torch to these young kids for the next Ghostbusters movie, I'm all for it. I'm excited for them. I'm a huge Ghostbuster fan. So as a Ghostbusters fan, I'm rooting for this next sequel that we get. But as far as the Stinkfest that is, because here's the thing, I did not like Morbius. I didn't think that Morbius was that great of a film. And here's the thing, it's no discredit to Jared Leto. Jared Leto was actually pretty good in the film. It's just the direction and the course and direction of what they chose to do within that film. But anyways, we're not here to talk about Morbius. They actually announced that they're doing a third Venom movie. So what I'm hoping for, they don't get the director who directed the second one, which is Andy which is, what's his name? I keep on forgetting his name. Andy Serkis. Yeah, Andy Serkis. I'm hoping that they don't get Andy Serkis to direct this next one, because I did not like Venom 2 at all. I thought that they went on ahead and filled us in with nothing but humor throughout the whole entire movie, to be honest. And then it was like, no, here's the thing. Whenever you get a villain, you want to feel invested into that villain. And I didn't really feel like there was a reason for Woody Harrelson's character and everything for them to fight. At least with the first Venom movie and everything, you actually had a reason for that, for these characters to square it off. Yes, it might have been cheesy, but it actually works. But with this second Venom movie, I'm not that interested in this the second one, this third one that's going to be coming out. But am I hoping that it's good? Am I hoping that whenever I see a trailer that it actually wows me? Yes, I am. But right now, without no context, without the plot lines, and without the trailer, it's hard to determine if I'm going to be excited for this movie or not. But that's just me coming off of this whole entire fatigueness of what Sony is forcing us to do with a Sinister Six type of movie, especially when you look at Venom and Carnage. So, with that being said, let's go on ahead and see what else we have from the other studios.
All right, now we're getting into the good stuff. Warner Brothers had their big one yesterday. Let me go and share my screen so you guys can get a glimpse of this. I'm going to be scrolling through the document. Let me and then we can just go from there just for a quick dive. Alrighty. Yep. So
that is
oh yeah.
All right. So right now we actually have basically the list of movies that are going to be coming from each studio. Charlie is going to go on ahead and talk about those movies that are coming out. So what do we have that's coming out of? Is it Warner Brothers right now?
We're doing Warner Brothers right now.
Okay.
So Warner Brothers had their big one yesterday, and of course everybody's wondering, oh, is there a Batman sequel? Yeah, they announced the Batman 2 is happening. Do I know when? No. I don't know when. They didn't announce that. They just announced, and the cast's coming back. I can't really give my 2 cents on it. I already have. I haven't seen the one yet. I just got to be in the mood to watch a 3-hour movie. But
I gotcha.
Moving on to the next one, the big one.
I do want to touch on this because here's the thing: whenever Discovery bought Warner Brothers, some people weren't sure if they would go on ahead and keep Robert Pattinson and Batman and everything else, even though it made bank at the box office and stuff like that. But it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. This movie drew the crowd into seeing the Batman movie. It gave us a reason to care about Batman.
Go party.
What?
Okay.
Sorry.
I do not want to party, Barbie. I am so sorry. But anyways, Charlie wants to party with Barbie, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about Batman still. So, anyways, this is what I want to talk about here. I feel like this. It made bank at the box office. It gave that box office draw into seeing Batman. It made bank. And then, of course, the positive word of mouth of everybody saying how good this is. It's only natural to go ahead and keep Robert Pattinson on as the Batman, in my opinion, because of the fact he did such a great job in that role. As a matter of fact, all the actors did a top-notch job in that movie and stuff like that. And like I said, I came out of the movie and there was this one kid talking on the phone and goes, "Look, man, you got to see the Batman. This is actually fantastic." And never in my life, after seeing a Christopher Nolan movie, that was like the last time I saw someone praise a DC movie in that kind of context before, for their friends to go out and see that movie and support that movie. So that just goes to show you how much gravitas it actually had for people to say, "Oh, yeah, my best friend saw this movie, so I need to go ahead and check this movie out too." So, okay, so what else we have?
Sorry, I have to get the share screen back.
Okay, I'll put that back in.
Barbie wanted to party. I was like, no, thank you. I'm not sharing my.
That's one movie I am going to be skipping out on. Just for everybody to know.
Oh, there we go. I'll take that off. There we go.
Okay. Now we
so yeah, that was the big one. The other one that they showed a lot of footage. So if anybody doesn't know what CinemaCon is, it's located in Vegas, and they have all these theater owners and stuff, media people are there, and they watch presentations from what's coming to the theaters, hence CinemaCon. So Warner Brothers, they showed a lot of footage. So if we're actually expecting us to react to it, sorry, we can't. We're not access to it. It's not available to us. What we can give you is tell you what they were showing. But the big one they showed is the one that I think a lot of us have been waiting for, is Black Adam. They showed a trailer to Black Adam, and he goes, he's like, superheroes don't kill people. Well, I do, or whatever. And everybody's like freaking out. I think there's a scene where the Rock catches a rocket and just destroys it in his hand. Like, it's like, Black Adam was supposed to be out this summer, and I think they pushed it to about October, November. That was when DC's push. But so Dwayne Johnson was there to present the movie. Anyway, he says Black Adam is one of the things in my life that gets me out of bed. Johnson told the crowd before a clip from the film was shown. I think the hierarchy of the DC universe is about to change. Essentially, Dwayne Johnson to Black Adam is Ryan Reynolds to Deadpool. It took him 11 plus multiple years to get this movie made, and that footage really like shook the whole thing. I think that's how they ended it, I believe. So did you want to mention that or keep going?
From what I heard, this is basically DC's Dirty Harry when you look at comic book movies. That's what I got out of it from the context that I read. This is like Dwayne Johnson being a total badass that he is and showing, of course, his charisma and stuff like that too. And I think that he's going to be a danger to, of course, to Kazam and everything too. To Shazam, not Kazam, but to Shazam. And I think that this is actually going to be a good movie. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see the actual trailer so we can react to it and to be able to see him hold that bomb. But still, it's excited to actually know that this movie's actually this movie got made. So let's go on ahead and go into the next.
Okay, so the other movies that were mentioned, shown, and we'll go into more data were Elvis, which I heard that one's like it was a couple clips from that. Wonka, which is the prequel movie to Willy Wonka, starring Timothée Chalamet. The Flash, we'll get into that. Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, Salem's Lot, and Don't Worry, Darling. And there's appearances by I think Matt Reeves was there, Olivia Wilde, James Wan, Helen Mirren, Zach Levi, and more. So scrolling down, Elvis,
Well,
the big one about Elvis, but yeah.
Well, I do want to talk about Salem's Lot for a minute because I did do a review on Salem's Lot and everything just recently. And I'm going to be honest with you, that movie does not hold up the way it's supposed to hold up or anything like that. I could actually tell that there was actually some practical effects in that movie. And the whole entire, I get the fact of prosthetics and everything else. And you can definitely tell that movie is dated because of the fact I was able to tell that there was actually a rubber hand in with that vampire makeup. And also too, the main character winds up punching the vampire as soon as he wakes up from the coffin. He winds up punching him in the face to make him go back and lay down so we can stab him in the heart. So I'm like, yeah, this movie needs to be remade. And Michael and I did a comparison. Well, he did a comparison. I asked him questions about what was different from the book, from the movie. And you guys can actually catch that review on our YouTube channel. But you know, I'm excited to know that there's actually going to be another Salem's Lot movie. I'm a huge fan of Stephen King. So with them doing that, it makes me all that much more excited. Of course, I know that they also got creeped out by the footage that they actually saw because of the article that I read last night on it. But still, I'm excited for it.
I believe James Wan's involved somehow. I think
he's the producer, I believe.
Okay. So, again, this is from the brief paragraph in it. It's film based on, against what John says, the 1975 horror novel about a writer who returns to Maine. That so Lewis Pullman stars as the lead character. Ben Mears with Spencer Treat Clark, William Sadler, Pilu Azabek, Alfred Woodward, and Bill Camp rounding out the cast. That's really all they mentioned on that. Let me scroll up. We can briefly mention some Aquaman footage was shown. Jason Momoa wasn't there. He's saying this movie's really ambitious to the because he's currently out there filming Fast 10 right now with Charlize Theron. But anyway, he says this one's really ambitious. Essentially, Aquaman has to team up with Orn, his brother, that they arrested at the end of the first one, to take on Black Manta. Black Manta is super dangerous, and I think they said, what from the description, Black Manta is he's human, but he's also he's like not feeling himself, so he's kind of ill or whatever. I think, or whatever the tech, Aquarian tech, is gone to his head, maybe. So he's supposed to be really super dangerous. So it's super dangerous to the point that Aquaman has to team up with his brother, Patrick Wilson, to stop him. And I'm like, I love the first Aquaman. That one was visually stunning. I mean, it's still stunning to this day. I'm super pumped for the sequel, and that one was supposed to be out this December, and they pushed it to 2023. And
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I am too. It's the one DC movie I'm like next year that I'm really excited for.
But no, I am definitely excited for Aquaman because of the fact that now you actually have kind of like a Loki and Thor kind of vibe to it, where they have to team up to take down this other big bad and everything now, because Manta has, and matter of fact, that actually goes in with the New 52 storylines and stuff like that in the comics. So that's something that I really like, is the fact that they actually are paying homage to the comics a little bit, but also too making it their own as well. So that's something that I'm actually excited about seeing.
Okay, and then the next big one, I think a lot of people are talking about. This movie's got like a lot of buzz to it, and I think it's gonna like make bank for Warner Brothers. Is Elvis? I believe Tom Hanks was there that day to talk about the movie. There's huge Q&A, and they said it's really I think it was so Warner devoted a big part of the early program to Elvis, holding an extensive Q&A with writer, director, producer Baz Luhrmann. He was later joined by star Austin Butler, which is funny because the last time I saw Austin Butler was he played one of the henchmen in or one of Charlie Manson's fellows. He played Tex from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So to go from that to say he's the devil when you hear do the devil's work to playing Elvis, a lovable character, which is actually like he's got some range. I'll just say that.
I'm going to tell you this. I mean, there's a reason why our trailer review got 4,000 views, right? Mm-hmm. Because of the fact that you have so much love from the Elvis community. My Aunt Rose, who's actually in the comments section, is also a huge Elvis fan. She was actually commenting a little bit last night as well. But he's such an iconic person and also too lovable, like you said, Charlie. But also, too, you actually have now some context, somebody that can actually play the carnal role like Tom Hanks. And boy, I think that we're in for a treat when it comes down to his character and what things that he did to Elvis. But also, too, another thing I want to mention is this, too. This has Oscars written all over for me, in my opinion, because of the fact that you have a biopic like Bohemian Rhapsody that came out a couple of years back, and then that got nominated for Academy Award nominations and stuff like that. I think this is actually going to be a movie that winds up being a contender for the Batman. I think the Batman's going to wind up facing off against the King of Rock and Roll. That's just my prediction. It's still too early to determine that, but I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to say that this is going to be an Oscar worthy movie, and also too, this movie's actually going to blow the box office out of the water as well, because of the fact that you have the Elvis fans coming in, supporting Elvis, wanting to check it out. Also, too, you also have people that was trying to educate me in the comments and everything else about Elvis and things like that. So that was something else that I really appreciated. But when you look at everything in its full context, this movie is actually something that I would definitely go out and support and check out. It needs to be seen on the screen, because I did not like that miniseries that they did with it back in the 90s. Oh boy, that was horrible. But so anyways, tell me what else we have coming out on WB's end.
The other one too that I think I was gotten like where people might be interested in is I know Timothée Chalamet's doing a prequel to Willy Wonka. And I think a lot of people said it was pretty decent from what they've heard of it. It says, speaking of singers, Timothée Chalamet debuted warbling a few tunes and the exclusive footage of Wonka, the first from the film, revealed publicly. Wonka hit in theaters December 15th, 2023. As the creator, is everybody ready? Chalamet's Wonka says via voiceover in the opening moments, which shows a younger Wonka in the early stages of his career as a chocolate maker. But what follows appears to be a fantastical adventure filled with singing, dancing, and clashes with the authorities, and a quest to spread chocolate to the world. So that's Wonka.
I'm actually kind of interested in that, to be honest. I mean, yeah, we got that horrible remake that Johnny Depp did and stuff like that. But what I wanted to see a prequel about how he came up with the idea of this chocolate factory, and see where he got the ideas from. Because that was something that I really felt like they needed to capture, even on the original one with Gene Wilder. Show us a young Willy Wonka trying to come up from nothing, basically, probably, and show us how he invented this factory. That's something that I was really intrigued with the fact that they wanted to go out and make a prequel to this movie, and nobody even asked for it, but still, it shows some originality and some authenticness of trying to do something different, so I'm for it.
Yeah, I mean, Warner Brothers is willing to take risks, and I'm for it. And then, I think the last second to last thing we'll get into before I get into the big one, this new Olivia Wilde movie, and I've heard of bits and pieces of it. I just didn't really know what the movie was about, but just seeing the cast and how everybody's freaking out. Oh well, no, I got a couple ones. No, we'll go into the Flash. Sorry, yeah, Flash footage was shown, and let's just say everybody's the trend after that one was Michael Keaton. I'll just say that just from what I've been hearing. So Wild crashes, a bending universe, young Superman, and a furback Batman drew cheers as a brief trailer for The Flash debuted as well. Biggest reaction came towards the end of the clip when Ezra Miller's Flash asked the question, "Are you in?" Then we get Keaton sans mask, but in his Batman suit with grayish hair, who retorts in his deadpan style, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." The iconic quote that he said to the Joker in the original Batman movie, "You want to get nuts?" I was like, I read that, I was like, oh my god.
I'm happy that they put that in there. I mean, come on, that's a perfect homage to have a throwback to an old quote. It depends on too, though, about how they do it and the scene that they do it in, if it's going to be corny or not. But just to know that they put that in the movie trailer itself makes me excited to know to expect it. It's just that I'm hoping that it doesn't come off as cheesy. I'm hoping that they do it at the right time versus it just being thrown in there just for the sake of having that line.
Yeah.
So as long as it serves the scene, I'm fine with it. So
yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. I just it's hard to really support the Flash when Warner Brothers still kept in Ezra Miller. I'm sorry, that guy's got he's just got some issues. I really want it if to hear Let's Get Nuts and Michael Keaton, if he just completely Will Smith's Ezra Miller's character in the movie, yeah, sure, I'll be happy with it because that guy needs to get his ass kicked. I'm sorry. It's the fact that Warner Brothers is supporting this still. I mean, again, they have to kind of they're kind of on
well, to be honest with you, they have no choice but to go through with it, and unfortunately, the new heads over at Warner Brothers has no choice but to release this film and stuff like that too. Don't forget, we actually have someone that is actually taking control of Warner Brothers now. So now they actually have to adopt this child into their whole entire industry and figure out what they're going to do with him. And so they have everything on pause with him, but it's hard to pause a movie that's already been out. So do you go back? Now, this is something that I talked to PJ about. Do you go back and reshoot all those scenes and cost the studio extra money? Or do you just go on ahead, let him be in the movie, and then have him at the end of it basically do a flashpoint where basically we wind up having the Flash from the TV series and do it that way? But that's just something that I was thinking about. But yes, it definitely has a lot of bad vibes with it. But I think people will still go out and see it and support it. But I don't think that Ezra Miller is going to be the Flash anymore after this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's again, I don't know. We'll see. You know, that's why they delayed this to next June. We still got a long ways to go before this movie comes. Who knows? They might if the new heads might okay, we're gonna scrap it because they're gonna completely do an overhaul. They might do an overhaul of because that's what they said. Because I don't know. I mean, they might because they want to do it because they mentioned Superman. We might begin more Supermans, which I'm okay with. If we get Henry Cavill back as Superman, that's fine. I think we need more him Superman, and we need to continue supporting Ezra Miller. I think we just need to just rip the Band-Aid off and cut him. I'm sorry. It's just it's not business. He's done it to himself.
I think that they'll do it once this movie is out. Mm-hmm. It's just that shelving this and just getting rid of the film altogether. You know what I mean? It's cost them X amount of dollars to film this movie. They're gonna lose out on a lot of profit by doing that. I don't see Warner Brothers doing that.
Yeah.
So I think the easiest thing.
I didn't mean shelve it. Yeah, I didn't mean to say shelve it, but the fact that this movie keeps getting delayed after delays after delays. This is the 6th or 7th time they've delayed this movie, and it's been developmental heck for years for them. We're gonna make this movie. I'm okay, sure. It's but I unlike Uncharted. Uncharted actually came out. If this movie come out, hopefully we'll see. Again, I mean the fact that they have some footage shown, that's good. We'll see. I mean, again, we got a long ways to go before next year. We got a whole another year before this movie comes out. We'll get Aquaman before we get the Flash. But anyway, into the other ones that if you're wondering, hey, is there a DC movie actually coming out this year besides Black Adam? Oh yeah, there is, and it's Shazam. Everybody's worried oh no, this movie got delayed again. No, they just delayed it 5 days because they didn't want it to go up against the juggernaut that is Avatar 2, which we'll get into in a bit. But Shazam 2 is coming out, Fury of the Gods, sequel to this 2019 Shazam, which I think was awesome. It was the nice lightheartedness that we didn't think DC would ever come out with, and Shazam was great. And this from hearing the reaction to the trailer and just how breaking the fourth wall they are. One of the scenes in the trailer apparently, as a new member of the most, I think because Helen Mirren, who was in the Fast and the Furious movies, apparently Shazam makes a reference to Fast and the Furious, saying, let's see if I can find that joke. It was something about, hey, well, I've seen the Fast and the Furious movies, and I know what saves the world. Family. And his family shows up after he says family. He says it right to Helen Mirren's face, who was in Fast and the Furious. I thought that was just a nice little, that's kind of funny. But yeah, again, it's perfect for Shazam, and I just love that first movie, and I'm really excited for the sequel.
Me too. And that's actually one of the underrated films of the DC properties is Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody really talks about Shazam anymore. So I'm happy that they're getting a sequel. I'm happy that that movie's happening finally, and we're actually going to get some footage later on.
Yeah, and the fact is, Shazam was supposed to be out next year, and they pushed it up. They pushed that up and delayed everything else because it was really supposed to be Aquaman that was supposed to be out this year. So they did the little reversal of that, which I think that's like they must have a lot of courage for that one, and I think it's going to do really well. It's going to it's going to be like the complete polar opposite. If you want a lighthearted movie, go see Shazam. There's probably gonna be some like intense moments in it, like the first Shazam. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for Shazam too. I think Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu, I believe, are the villains, and Helen Mirren, who plays a gold costume Hespera, a daughter of Atlantis. And also too, I'm interested because we're getting Black Adam before Shazam, and Black Adam's a Shazam million. Is there going to be like correlation between the two? Are they going to set up the sequel and stuff? But yeah, so I'm really excited to see what we got with this one. I'm glad they're actually like getting us more characters, honestly, in the screen. We need a Kite Man, and okay.
All right, so what else do we have?
I think the last one is this new Olivia Wilde movie, which I've heard of it. I just never really was like, okay, I've seen photo images. Anyway, it's a movie called Don't Worry, Darling. It's a psychological thriller starring herself, Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Chris Pine, Gemma Chan, Kiki Lane, and Nick Kroll. And the quote was, "What would it take for you to give up your life to do what is right? That is the question of Don't Worry, Darling," Wilde said, introduced an exclusive look at the film's first trailer. As she saluted exhibitors, the trailer should be out soon. From what I was told I've seen on Twitter, who fought so hard to keep the movie business alive, describing her September 23rd release as a love letter to movies like The Matrix and Inception. She said that in Pugh's performance, you are seeing the birth of a full-fledged movie star and called Styles a revelation. She quipped, "I'm also in the movie because I was the only one who we could afford when we got to that point." I already knew Florence Pugh was a star since Black Widow. I think she's a full-fledged star, but when you use the terms Inception and Matrix to describe your movie, not only do you have my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
I think it's gonna be very interesting, especially with it being a thriller type of film that's inside this sci-fi type of world that they're trying to create. I'm actually definitely interested in it. I can't wait to take a look and see that film, see the trailer for it and things like that, especially when they combine the Matrix in with an Inception kind of vibe to it. It definitely has my curiosity, that's for sure.
I just hope they didn't hype it up too much to the point of like those are two like iconic Warner Brother movies, like The Matrix and Inception. Like you need to deliver on that. I mean, if you're calling your movie that, I mean, I'm intrigued, but we'll see. I'm hoping, hoping it's good. I'm hoping there's like a lot of like psychological thriller. Okay, I'm like, all right, what I see it in theaters, you gotta make me interested to see it in the theaters. That's the big point.
Well, not only that, but even from a trailer standpoint, if you're gonna go all out, especially with us not seeing any footage and saying that, you have to deliver on that promise of saying something like that. For another example, you have the new Stranger Things TV series coming out, right? They're saying, "Oh, this is going to be just as epic as the final season of Game of Thrones." I'm like, you might want to pause that button because the final season of Game of Thrones sucked, and everybody complained about it. You might want to press that pause button just a little bit, buddy. before you go ahead and say that. Because then you're gonna get everybody else that's actually who might be Game of Thrones fans watching Stranger Things like, I don't know if I want to go on ahead and try that out now, because you just said that it's going to comparing it to another TV series, just like how you said with The Matrix and Inception. It's like, okay, you have my anticipation level at this height and everything, but can you deliver us that trailer in that look? That's another thing.
Yeah,
especially without no context.
So a little brief up this to read from the article. I think when Dwayne Johnson showed up, I think he teased the fans saying he was in Hawaii before he walked on the stage. He's like, no, screw that, I'm here. Like he showed up, like because he was also there to promote the DC League of Super Pets. And usually it's an animated kid movie. I don't really watch that, but just hearing this, all the people that are involved with that movie, especially when you got Keanu Reeves as Batman, voicing Batman, like. I'm in. I'm sorry. You got Keanu Reeves voicing Batman, Dwayne Johnson versing the dog of Super Dog, Superman's voiced by John Krasinski. I mean, you got a lot of big people in it. So I'm like, okay, you got my like. Once I found out Keanu Reeves is the voice of Batman, I'm like, I'm in. But that's all Warner Brothers. Let us know what you think in that. What are you anticipating, like, excited for from Warner Brothers? Is there something like? Whatever, just let us know in the comments below. And then now we're moving on to Disney. And Disney had some pretty big stuff today. Let me share that article real quick. But briefly what they showed some images, like maybe not a lot of footage from Black Panther Forever, the new Black Panther movie. They essentially showed like the first 15 minutes of Doctor Strange, which we really don't need to cover because it's really coming out next week. Let me see what else did they show. They had they showed a couple about 15 to 30 minutes of new Lightyear, which actually sounds interesting. The new Lightyear movie looks pretty interesting. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's basically just about the movie that Andy saw that Buzz Lightyear is actually what the movie's actually about. It's not specifically about Andy or any other toys. It's just about this. What's basically about is about the toy. Basically, it was just a movie that the toy was based off of in the Toy Story world. So that's what you're getting out of that film. So it's actually something different instead of us getting another Toy Story film.
Yeah, it's like an origin story to the Buzz Lightyear character. I think because he's an astronaut. So essentially, that's what it was. Of the actual astronaut that Buzz Lightyear is based off on. But the animation style, from what I've seen of it, looks really like, wow, they really know what they're doing. And Chris Evans, of course, like you can't really do like a Disney movie without Chris Evans now. I mean, he is like iconic. Like you got to have him as the hero because it's very rare he's going to play a villain. But yeah, I mean, he's voicing Buzz Lightyear. So essentially they show some footage of that. There's that, and then the other one that's like interesting. I think they finally got a title for it. It was the new David O. Russell movie. If you don't know who David O. Russell is, he's done a lot of stuff, a lot of Oscar-y stuff. This one sounds intriguing with the cast. I mean, he knows how to get some good cast. So his new movie is called Amsterdam and was described from the stage as an original crime epic about three close friends who find themselves at the center of one of the most shocking secret plots in American history. The three friends are Christian Bale, Margaret Robbie, and John David Washington as a doctor, a nurse, and attorney. I don't know who's playing who, but and who met in Belgium. They have a scene with Robert De Niro as he quizzes them on their respective backgrounds. A lot of this actually happened, promises the teaser that features period garb for the 1930s with a dance sequence, and another sequence with Taylor Swift acting opposite Bale, Washington, and Chris Rock as the four stand over a casket with a dead white man in a box, says Rock. And then I think there's another like comment or whatever Christian Bale makes, but it's supposed to also stars Anya Taylor-Joy, Mike Myers, Rami Malek, Zoe Saldana, Timothy Oliphant, Michael Shannon, Andrea Riseborough, Alessandro Nivola, and Matthias Schnertz, I think, among others. It marks Russell's first film since 2015's Joy, and he's credited as writer, director, and producer, and it's supposed to hit November 4th.
That might actually be a contender for maybe Oscar vibes in a sense, but I'm actually kind of intrigued with it. I'm kind of interested in seeing what that's actually going to entail, to be honest.
Yeah. I like David O.
Oh,
Russell. I've seen a lot of his stuff. He's made some
same.
really good, entertaining movies. I think a lot of people comparing it a little bit to like it's got that American Hustle kind of vibe to it.
Hmm.
So there'll probably be some comedy. It's like a dark comedy in a
That's
sense.
right. That's the vibe that I was getting off of it, to
Yeah.
be honest with you. Especially whenever you have some serious vibes to it, but you're also getting some dark humor within that film as well.
Yeah.
But American Hustle, at first, I wound up liking it, but then the more I watched it, the more I realized that it was kind of a little bit of overrated for me
Hmm.
personally. But I can admire what he did with that film, though, because of the casting, because of the dialogue, the camera angles, everything within that film.
Hmm.
I did enjoy. I did wind up enjoying it, but the more that I thought about it, it's just might be a little bit more overrated than what I
Yeah.
thought about. But still an enjoyable movie though.
But yeah, I think this is definitely like he seems to be the guy that always seems to get Oscar talk. So I could see that be being that one where he gets the Oscars. Like the nominations, we'll see. Depends on again. It really all depends on timing and how much buzz the movie has. Like I know that Star is Born was out. It came out in October, and that had a lot of buzz, but then it lost steam come Oscars. So if it comes out in the summer, though, it's really gonna have, like I think that's what really helped Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which came out like end of July, beginning of August. When that got nominated for Oscars, I think it was the buzz for it and then the performances. So if the performance knocks it out of the park and it comes out in the summer, yeah, I think that definitely Oscar talks, but it really depends on timing. That seems to be what it is. But then again, it's figuring out the Oscars mind, and I'm like, I don't want to do that because they don't know it. They have no idea what they're doing.
Okay,
Um,
so what else
I
we
think
got?
the last big thing, and personally, I've been waiting for this for 13 years. They revealed Avatar 2 is actually happening. It's coming out this year. I've been waiting 13 years for this since I saw Avatar in the theaters 2009 when this came 2010. Um yeah, seen what James Cameron did with that movie in terms of the technology, not with the story. I don't go watching James Cameron movies for a story. I watch it to see awesome visuals, what he does with the technology, and some great action sequences. And for me, I think that nailed it for Avatar because I saw that in 3D on like I don't like 3D. I was like, yeah, I'll go see this in 3D. That 3D blew my mind of how
The
awesome
3D is
that
definitely
was.
outstanding. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, I mean, I know everybody poo poos the movie and stuff like that, but here's the thing: I do go in to a James Cameron movie to watch the plot because of the fact of Terminator and stuff like that. Yes, it's cool to see Arnold Schwarzenegger kill T-1000 and Sarah Connor and stuff like that. You know, helping her survive and things like that. But you have context behind the movie itself.
Mm-hmm.
And with Avatar and everything, you had the mythology and the lore of that to make you care about the lore. He used a little bit of everything to make that movie. Also, too, he also said at that time it was going to change the way that we look at 3D. And my God, did it change the way that we look at 3D? We had 3D TVs because of that movie. Also, too, this sequel at first, I'm like, you know what? This sequel doesn't really excite me at all. It still doesn't. I need to see a trailer before I actually see it. But one thing I can say is this: when it comes to originality, when it comes to authenticity, when it comes down to James Cameron, you cannot count this guy out. Because when you count this guy out, he comes out of nowhere, raises the Titanic in a sense, and puts up box office numbers to the point where nobody can beat him and
Oh yeah.
everything. So
I mean,
this now it's been X amount of years since 13 years since we had the original Avatar movie. So I'm hoping that this movie still does its job, which I think it will. But I still think that there is some audiences that, even though people might be poo-pooing it or whatever, I think there's some curiosity behind it, though, too.
mm-hmm. So from what I've been hearing, for everybody wondering, hey, am I going to be able to see the trailer? Well, I'm glad you asked because they announced exclusively in theaters starting next week. If you see Doctor Strange in the theaters, you will get the first chance to see this trailer for Avatar 2. Avatar 2 will be shown during trailers for Doctor Strange, and then will be placed online like a couple maybe weeks afterwards. So I saw that, I'm like, all right, cool. And then so essentially, like, because everybody was done with 3D glasses, so they saw that. But the one thing I got to credit Avatar, the legs that movie had in terms of box office. That movie dominated weeks. I think it didn't start out first, and then it gut punch, and then it started like, you know what, it's my ball now. I'm taking over, and it was many weeks, at least 4, 5, 6 consecutive weeks against big movies. This thing had legs for that. And there's a reason this movie made over $2 billion without inflation, without adjusting for inflation. This movie made this was the leading record until Endgame came out for the leading record for the highest grossing movie of all time. This movie made so much money, and again, and this is a sequel. And no, like, just from me studying the history of James Cameron, he makes bank on sequels. Like, his sequels make more than the originals. Like, you know, he didn't direct the original Alien. He directed Aliens, and that movie made like double what Alien did. And it made bank. Like, Aliens for me is my favorite Alien movie. Again, first one's good. I'm just not a huge horror fan. That's why I'm like, at it when you mix in the element of the horror and the action, what Cameron did perfectly for Avatar, for Aliens, like that. T2 for me was like, I like T2 better than T1, but I'm not saying T1's bad at all. T1's great. They're like, T1 and T2 are the only two good Terminator movies. T2 made bank that. So his track record with sequels is really good, and he always tries to reinvent it for the technology. He's an advocate for the theater experience, and that's what I love about James Cameron. He cares about the theater experience so much that he had to create a new camera just to film this movie, which is focusing on the oceans of Pandora, hence the title, The Way of Water. And because they focus in on the oceans of Pandora, and they have to film. They're made a camera to shoot underwater. Now, if you thought the skies visually were absolutely stunning, I cannot only imagine seeing this and like seeing his 3D in this one for the waters. I'm super excited. I'm going to try to see that in IMAX 3D, because that was what I was going to try. I was going to wait 13 years to see this as my first IMAX 3D movie. Didn't happen. I saw Ready Player One, but just seeing this, and for anybody, like, I know a lot of people running, but the trailer is that, but they also announced they're bringing back Avatar back into the theaters. They're bringing it back on September 23rd with a re-release of the original Avatar with restored picture and sound. So they're bringing it back for everybody that has maybe not heard of Avatar or gotten to see it in theaters. They're bringing it back for people to see it, to maybe get caught up before the new one. Because I get it, it's a lot of time, but I think he was busy writing the scripts for the other Avatar movies, and I think some of the other cast members, I think we still don't know a lot of the plot. It's supposed to set like a lot of time after the events of the first one. They said this is supposed to be a standalone movie as well. Like, all of them are standalone, and all of them are sequels at the same time. So in the story, in a story set more than a decade after the events of the first film, the dazzling footage in the teaser trailer focused on Jake and Neytiri, and including gorgeous shots of Pandora's bright blue water, both above and below the surface. So I can only imagine what that looks like. And then Taruk, the flying creatures introduced in the first film, and a new whale-like creatures. Returning characters also include Sigourney Weaver and Stephen Lang. Film alters features some big-name newcomers, including Vin Diesel and Cameron Titanic star Kate Winslet. Don't leave anybody on the plank again. Always give them some room. We already know what you did to Jack. You could have left some space on that one. And then, and then there's like other cast members in this too. But yeah, it made more than $2.8 billion at the worldwide box office. So yeah, that was the big one. A lot of people were expecting the Avatar 2 teaser trailer, and that's what they got during today. And I have it during Doctor Strange, where most people are going to be watching it. I kind of predicted that was going to happen. Like, there's going to be an Avatar 2 trailer during Doctor Strange. I'm pretty sure of it. And I'm like, cool. I guess all 5 on that one.
But yeah, I think that's actually a good place to actually promote this film and stuff like that too, in front of a big movie like Doctor Strange. Mm-hmm. And it gives them a big idea. Here's the thing. We watch trailers on YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. With Avatar, you need to see a movie trailer on the big screen for this one. to get the ideas and the color schemes and what James is doing with this movie, versus just seeing this on a YouTube channel and reacting to something.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a big atmospheric kind of movie to promote this movie, and this is actually a smart move to be able to do that. So I think that they actually chose the right movie to promote this movie, and to be able to give us this color schemes, give us an idea what this movie's about. And I'm actually excited and looking forward to seeing the trailer attached to Doctor Strange.
Yeah, so, I'm too. I remember when the first teaser one, everybody's gonna be like, this doesn't look good. Trust me, I was there when the first teaser came out for the original Avatar. I was like, I don't know about this one. But when it was the second trailer came out, and I think this was back when Fox was actually like really smart, like right before NFL Sunday kickoff, they showed, all right, here's the new trailer for Avatar, for the new Avatar. That 2-minute trailer, I was in. So it's going to take multiple trailers, and if you don't get everything, that's the whole point. You're not supposed to get a lot of stuff from the trailer. If the trailer tells you everything, it's like, what's the point of even seeing this movie? Like, again,
it's to reel you in. It's to reel you in. That's that's the whole thing of a trailer. A trailer is supposed to trail before the movie and to be able to reel you in to that particular film and seeing if you were interested in that particular film or not. It's not there to tell you a full entire story of anything.
So don't go expecting like James Cameron to tell you everything, because he's been keeping this secret for 13 years. He's been working on the sequels for this. Like, I'm hyped for this because I've been waiting for this movie for so long. So this is besides Doctor Strange and Thor, this is my anticipated movie of this year. So I gotta wait all the way to December 16th. Yes, they have a release date. They said it's coming this year. I'm like, please do not delay this. I can't wait much longer. and then expect the sequels to come out like years afterwards. But man, I'm excited for this. I love the first one. I really want to see what the waters look like, and I'm excited to check out the Pandora World and Animal Kingdom this year. That's the first, because I haven't been to Animal Kingdom in years, so Avatar World, I'm excited to check that out. But yeah, man, Avatar 2. I'm so excited for this movie.
All right, so do we have anything else?
No, I think that was about it. I know Universal's doing their thing now. You can find updates on it. I think one highlight like that from what I read, there's a movie called Beast starring Idris Elba. I think he's taking on a lion or something. I don't know the full story. All I know is the trailer ends with him punching a lion in the face.
He's Black Superman, so he can do anything. Yeah. But I do want to catch up on something real quick.
Go ahead.
So I've been reading this book by Joe Hill. It's called The Black Phone. The Black Phone is not a whole entire book about the Black Phone. It's actually a book of short stories. So I read The Black Phone. The Black Phone is only 20 pages long. And that's 20, maybe 30 pages long, and that's it. So, and this is also a book that's actually basically by Joe Hill, which is also Stephen King's son. And I have to say this. It's going to be interesting on how they handle the property on a book that's 20 to 30 pages long, especially when you're not dealing with a one-story kind of note where you're paying attention to the same characters. You're switching stories. So it's going to be interesting on how they do that. Also, too, Charlie also mentioned to me earlier about the next Halloween movie with Jamie Lee Curtis, how it's supposed to be an upset for the Halloween fans. And it's going to actually going to create some controversy around that film. And I'm just going to say this. I'm hoping that we actually have the same vibes going into the first Halloween movie that we had when Blumhouse and them took over. Because I really loved the slow tone. I loved how they did the build-up for it. With this Halloween Kills, it was just there for the sake of being there for a Halloween film. Mm-hmm. And I didn't like it. I didn't really care for that. You can actually catch that review on the channel. And I think it's because of the fact that this was more an atmospheric kind of film with this last film, opposed to how the film before that one got set up. But I believe that Jamie Lee Curtis is going to wind up dying in this film. And I'm thinking, too, that maybe Michael Myers is going to die in this film. And that's going to wrap up the whole entire Halloween thing. Because I think it would be poetic, in a sense, where you have... Because basically, if you think about it, Michael Myers was just a crazy man that escaped out into the mental institution on Halloween. That's all he was. So my thought was this: Jamie Lee Curtis was always the one that got away. So basically, that's why he's after her, because she's the one that got away. So my philosophy is this: they both kill each other. Therefore, there's no reason for Michael to keep on chasing her anymore, or anything like that, because she's dead. There's no reason for Jamie Lee Curtis to be afraid of Michael Myers anymore, because she's also dead, and therefore he's dead. So there's no reason for the two of them to coexist. Now, will they reboot it? Probably, maybe. They always do. Michael Myers is never fully dead. They always find a way to revive him and everything. But still, I'm actually excited to see what Blumhouse does with it. Here's the thing. Blumhouse is hit and miss for me. But I love what Blumhouse does. On paper, everything looks good. On screen, not so much. But I like the originality. I like the authenticity of it, of what they try to do from paper to screen. Does it land sometimes? No, not all the time. But still, I like what they try to accomplish. Mm-hmm. So there's that. So anyways, guys,
to go on your point about Halloween, I know like Jamie Lee Curtis was out on stage at CinemaCon talking about it. I think she says, all good things come to an end. Mama's tired. It will be fine. It's gonna F you up. That's what she says. And I think the footage that they show, like a lot of flashback, and they show a fight between Michael and like Jamie, so much to the point where she stabs a knife through Michael's hand. Like this round I was like,
this is gonna be bloody. This is gonna be bloody.
Oh, it is. Halloween's gonna end. I mean, if you thought the last one wasn't bloody, oh geez, this one's that. October 14th. And October 14th, so it's right around Halloween. And I think later this week, I think there's supposed to be some more pressers. I think the big one I'm looking forward to is the Lionsgate one, because there's at least 2 movies that Lionsgate's got that I want to know more on. Like, give me some more John Wick info. Like, John Wick 4 is coming out next March 2023. The pandemic ruined us the chance of the Keanu-sance of Matrix Resurrections and that John Wick 4 were supposed to be out on the same day, on the same May day. It was the Keanu-sance, the weekend of Keanu. Like that, the pandemic took that away from me. Now I have to wait till 2023 for when John Wick 4 is out. Like I want to know some more stuff on John Wick 4. Like I the way the last one ended, we're already at 3 years now. Just about like that'd be about next month be about 3 years since John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum was out. I want more info on that. And then the last one is I want more info on the Expendables 4. I want like my Expendables 4 fix, because just seeing the set photos, and this is supposed to be Stallone's last one he finished filming, which means they're gonna kill him off. And you got Jason Statham fighting Ikuo Osawa's. He's the guy from the Raid movies, the main actor in the Raid movies. We got those 2 martial artists going up against each other, and it's supposed to be an R-rated fight. Like, those 2 guys are gonna like have an epic fight. I think it's gonna be a lot better than the Statham Scott Adkins fight in the Expendables 2. But getting those 2 guys who I love in action movies, they're gonna tear down the roof. I want to see give me some trailer for Expendables 4. It's supposed to be out this year. Like, give me that, because that movie, I love that franchise. Like for the third one was all right, but yeah, I want some Jason Statham like fights on this one. Like he's supposed to be taking over the franchise now, so I'm like, good. Any more Jason Statham, the better.
I agree with you. Anytime we have Jason Statham on the film and everything, go on ahead, give that to me. I'll watch Jason Statham just about any and everything.
I wanted to see him run out a shark in the Meg. Didn't get to see that, but there is a Meg 2 happening next year. Yep.
That's what I was about to say. He is signed up for Meg 2. So I did see Meg 1, but slightly disappointed in Meg 1. But hopefully Meg 2. I don't know why I'm a sucker for shark movies, but I am. I just want to see Jason Statham roundhouse a shark. That's all I want to do. I just want to see him roundhouse a shark.
I wanted to see that so bad. I'm like, oh, bummer. But they didn't kill him off. That was good. They didn't kill Jason Statham. Don't kill him.
But anyways, let's see. This is just going back off of the dark comedy stuff. My aunt says that she's not crazy about dark comedies. She likes regular comedies. To be honest with you, I feel the same way. I'm not a big fan of these dark comedies. I like regular comedies over dark comedies, but it depends on too with some dark comedies if they do the humor right within the dark comedies. Mm-hmm. But still, I'm not a big
really good at that.
Yeah.
Like
I laughed at some of the humor within the the movie they used them with American Hustle. I laughed my butt off at some of the stuff.
Yeah,
that he did.
yeah.
But anyways, do you have anything else that you wanted to talk about or anything like that?
No, but I was saying, if you don't like dark comedies, definitely watch some Guy Ritchie ones. He does it. He does it really well, where it doesn't seem like it's not forced. I just know his recent one, the Gentleman. That was a really good one. Like a great cast. It had some funny moments in it. And then it had some like humor in it. So Guy Ritchie's really good at that, and I think don't expect it in the Wrath of Man. That one's straight up like that's not a comedy at all. There's no comedy in it. There's funny moments, but it's not a dark comedy. But usually Guy Ritchie's really good with that. So if you haven't seen any of those movies, definitely check out Guy Ritchie. He does some really good ones.
Definitely, The Irishman was not The Irishman. The Gentleman was definitely a great movie. Irishman is totally different. But anyways, with that being said, guys, that's going to be it for our CinemaCon news that we know so far. Tomorrow night, I'm actually going to be recording our Moon Knight review, but guess what? I'm not going to be live for that one. That's actually going to be pre-recorded, and it'll be out on Friday. And I'll be editing that. And matter of fact, Rossi will be back with me. Alex will be back on there with me. And, of course, me, of course. But go on ahead, check that out whenever I drop that on Friday. Friday, we're not going to have a show. We'll be back here on Monday. Hopefully, we might actually do our Doctor Strange rewatch review. We'll let you know in the coming days as to be announced. So, with that being said, go on ahead and follow us on Facebook and at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite, of course, on the same brand name on Instagram and on Pinterest as well. If you'd like to get an audio-only podcast of our episodes, how many episodes that we do here at Movie Lovers Unite, you guys can get that on all major platforms. Then, of course, guys, if you want to support us, how do you do that? I'm glad that you guys asked. All you have to do is go to buyasacoffee.com/movie lovers, and that's how you can donate $5 to $10 over there. But guess what? We understand the pandemic probably put holes in people's pockets. We totally get that. So what you guys can do is smash that subscribe button, smash that like buttons, comment below. Also, too, smashing that bell on the bottom right-hand corner to allow you guys to know when we have something new here also helps. Also, too, do not hit the personalized button on that bell. What you want to do is you want to hit the all button so that you get all notifications across the board when we have something new out. And then, of course, whenever you see that notifications on your phone, just go ahead, hit that, and it'll bring you straight to the stream. And so that's where you guys can go ahead and do that at. Then, of course, go on ahead and follow me on Twitter at Movie Lovers Unit over there. And then, of course, on TikTok at Movie Lovers Unit 0. Then if you're a sponsor or would like to be on the show, just go ahead and reach out to me at movieloversunite@gmail.com. And that's everywhere you guys can follow me at. And like I said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this segment. I know that I did. I know Charlie did, because his number one anticipated movie is Avatar. And mine, of course, is a bunch of other movies.
It was the Batman. Your anticipate was the Batman.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm excited for the Batman that hasn't even been announced yet for a sequel on the release date. But I'm still excited. I'm like a little kid at a candy store. I cannot help myself. But I'm also excited about The Flash because I actually get to see Michael Keaton and forget about Ezra Miller. So with that being said, until next time,